And now it's Renovate and Build. 60 minutes dedicated to building and renovating solutions. Here's your hosts, Jim and Sandra.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to the weekend. Today on Renovate and Build, Jim, our theme is looking at construction and development from different angles. We've mentioned many times on the show about how the construction industry has often lagged behind in technology as well as new business practices, but we're hoping that through more education we can change that.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the residential marketplace is one that's definitely lagging behind. Large developments. They have to be advanced and forward thinking to get these things built, right? But I've always said, and that's why I launched Fairtrade Works into the residential market, because I think it's desperately in need, where this kind of unstructured construction model and sector has just kind of bumbled along and hasn't been changed for 50 years, where it's just the same old kind of practices, structures. All the fragmentations, all these small companies all jockeying for the same position, and I think the consumers are left in this environment. It's very challenging and becoming ever more and more challenging as the large projects suck up the resources, and a lot of the experienced companies and contracts and trades are retiring over the next 10 or 15 years. We know the stats that. Yeah, it's just an environment that hasn't changed for the longest time, and it just needs a rejuvenation. We're stat freaks here on Renovate and Build, and we know that 40% of construction companies in North America are operating on lines of credits. They're not actually making any money. And who suffers from that? The homeowners, the commercial clients, because these companies are just jockeying to make a wage, and they're asking for large deposits, overruns, poor estimating. It's just a bad business model. And again, that's why I launched Fairtrade Works, to create an even platform and structure to offer solutions, solutions to the fragmentation, bring everything onto one platform, bring it to we're basically privatizing on a private company and organizing the construction industry on the consumer's behalf, and allowing the consumer to comfortably navigate the industry with all these kind of systems in place. And we do all our pre-screening and due diligence. We ensure that everybody's insured and has work safe coverage, and just make sure that qualified people are going into our consumers' homes to ensure that these projects are built right. We're transparent about costing. We're trying to create market value in construction for the first time ever, because in the residential marketplace, the pricing is so erratic and unpredictable, and the highest price doesn't always say the best quality, the lowest price doesn't mean say the worst, and it's just, quite frankly, it's just a disaster, and it's time for change. And that's what Fairtrade Works is all about, and bringing a trusted brand into the North American marketplace, a third-party advocacy brand, the first ever in Canadian history where there's a company set out to work on the consumer's behalf to help them navigate the construction industry with a huge amount of resources that they have behind them. And it's just, it's time to look through a new lens and look at the construction development from a fresh perspective. And it's, as a young chap and heavily involved in the construction industry, it's just a really exciting time to bring all the stuff I've learned from construction and working with other sectors and working with my peers and colleagues, combining all that into a true brand and launching it into the construction marketplace, and knowing what consumers want and actually delivering that for them.
Well, this show today is for you because you love these fresh new business models and fresh new visionaries. All the guests today are about fresh outlooks. The first guest you're going to really want to keep along for the hour, Jim, because she's going to be helping all allergy sufferers, those who actually may be allergic to their homes. We're going to be speaking with Jennifer Van Evra, a writer-broadcaster for Allergic Living and many other magazines and shows. She's here to talk to us today from her very unique point of view about making homes as allergy-free as possible. And I know there's so many people that we've talked to that suffer.
I got my hand up here because I'm certainly a sufferer, and I'm definitely interested, because year in year, and I didn't actually suffer back in England where I'm from, but it's just I guess I don't know why it is, but I do certainly suffer from horrible allergies and sniffling and snuffling all year round. And also ahead this hour with a very cool story is David Eddy, the CEO of Vancouver's Native Housing Society, to fill us in on his social enterprise model.
But first, let's zip across the pond to Vancouver Island to catch up with our neighborhood news reporter, Mike Curvell. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Jim and Sandra. How are you today?
Very well, Mike. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
I'm just happy I'm not suffering from allergies. Oh, I hear a dog in the background. I am allergic.
Yes, he's right on time. Maybe he's got allergies. I don't know.
He sounds a bit stuffy. So, Mike, you're our Vancouver Island representative over there working for Fair Trade Works, and I know you're really in tune with what's kind of happening out there. So what is happening? What's the kind of the latest in the construction and development on Vancouver Island?
There's an amazing amount of construction going on here right now, and I can just imagine what's going on behind the scenes. If I was, I love hockey, and if I had my choice, I wouldn't be a player, I'd be the GM, because I know that the politics going on in the background is incredible right now. We've got, of course, the Island Ferries is scheduled to develop a terminal for a fast ferry foot passenger service. Now, they're still waiting for financing, but there's some related stories to this, too, as well. And right beside where that ferry is going in, Western Forest Products has had a mill there for many years, and that they're going to consolidate their operation with a new modernized Duke Point sawmill, and that's almost near completion. And this will free up a significant amount of waterfront estate right adjacent to where that ferry terminal is and right next to the downtown Nanaimo. And that'll be available for redevelopment, and I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with that.
Yeah, I've actually took a drive along there, Mike, and it is a huge block of land, but like you said, it's right by the ferry terminal there, along with that hotel I know is being developed down there, and it's I can certainly see that being developed in some really interesting tourism base, maybe even some residential units, and just almost create a bit of a new kind of downtown for Nanaimo, which is waterfront, right?
A destination to live for sure. With that waterfront, I know that there will be some remediation of the land there needed, but downtown waterfront is so valuable. And of course, we've got the two hotels that are supposed to go in downtown, and one of them is a $50 million 21-story hotel that is being built to attach to the convention center downtown by the SSS Manhao Company from China. And what we hear now is that they're doing some alterations to their building plan. So although they've turned the soil, they do not have a building permit in place, and they have till December the 17th to apply for a building permit. And of course, this leads to all kinds of speculation.
Wow, that's down to the wire.
Yeah,
it's down to the wire.
That's interesting. I wonder what's going on there.
Well, a lot of the old timers around here have seen this before, and they were almost expecting it, but it still could all come together. Now, what's taking over the news right now, though, and today there's been some developments in this too as well, is the proposed Hilton Hotel, and that's to be built on land adjacent to Georgia Park on the Nanaimo waterfront. They want a 50-year lease on a 60% portion of the public parkland, which, of course, that causes all kinds of controversy because, the parks are for the people. But apparently today, or the last couple of days anyway, the rezoning has been approved by City Council, and they've now have permission to build a 35-story hotel. Now, that is massive for Nanaimo.
Tourism, Nanaimo must be expecting lots of guests with all these hotel rooms opening, Mike.
It's very exciting, isn't it?
It is.
And I mean, if it's only half as busy as they're obviously planning for, that's still a major change for a small community.
Yes.
And now there's also a local developer, Scott Belair of Belair Construction. He's purchased the old Nanaimo shipyards on the Nanaimo waterfront as well. And the zoning is already in place, and he plans to build float homes right in the shipyard facility and then float them to a new dock system, which will be constructed on site on beautiful Newcastle Channel.
Beautiful floating community.
Yeah, so Scott is in meetings with the Nanaimo Port Authority and the city to work out the final layout for what will become a floating community. And this project could ultimately include 110 square meter homes with projected selling price of $425,000 each.
It's interesting, yeah. There's just so much happening out there, and I'm not a BC resident. Obviously, I'm a British chap, but even the 10 years I've spent in British Columbia, just what you've talked about there, coming to Nanaimo, that's huge. Like that's global growth, and it's influenced by global markets, and yeah, it's just going to be so interesting to see.
Well, it's interesting when you get big players like that are showing confidence in your community. I mean, and that just it stirs other development too. And I'm sure as soon as we see some physical construction starting, it should just be the tip of what's to come next.
Yeah, exactly. If it's become successful and these units start to get full, it's like you said, it's just the start of another growth pattern and another kind of trend of kind of migration and tourism. So Mike, what is currently the biggest or the kind of the I know you've just touched upon some projects there, but in your opinion or from what you've read and the stats you've crunched, what is currently the biggest and most talked about development?
Well, it's got to be the two dueling hotels right now.
That's the Hilton and the.
That's got to be at the Hilton and the hotel attached to the convention center.
Okay.
And what's happening in Victoria, Mike? Nanaimo seems busy, but is there anything happening at the other end?
Well, there's lots happening in Victoria, and I know we wanted to talk about that last time around, but we barely got to it. I don't think we did get to it last time. Well, right now, Victoria expects to spend over $30 million in marine projects. So I know the Royal Victoria Yacht Club is going to be rebuilt, and it could use it. Actually, it's an older building in a beautiful location, and pre-sales are underway for the long-awaited luxury super yacht marina known as the Victoria International Marina, which is estimated to cost $22 million to build. And then there's Harbour Air Seaplanes. They're the world's largest seaplane airline. I didn't realize that before. They'll also be launching yet another marine project expected to cost $4.5 million at 950 Wharf Street on the Inner Harbor. And according to Victoria's CMA, in the residential market, new home construction is forecast to decline 5% to 1,600 starts in 2014, but to rebound to 1,800 units by 2015. So there's going to be some sustained growth after a little dip, but that's what we like to hear.
Incredible. I can't believe maybe I should be moving back to the island with all the development that's happening there.
Well, there's still room over here, Sandra.
Well, it does seem like a strong fall for you, Mike, on the island and new year. So please keep us in touch with any of the latest developments.
Oh, I'll be doing that, you bet.
Mike Curvell has been our neighborhood news reporter this week. If you're listening from Vancouver Island and you'd like to share your news with Mike, you can reach us at radio@fairtradeworks.biz.
We're going to be hearing more about countertop solutions with Gary and Meg on Product Face-Up later this hour.
And just ahead, sneezing, runny nose? Winter for many people means allergies galore. What's causing your symptoms? It may be your house. Designer-writer Jennifer Van Esbra will be joining us next. She has some information that you are going to want to hear, so stay with us.
There's still lots more ahead. This is Renovate and Build, powered by Fair Trade Works with Jim and Sandra.